What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Water Magician, episodes 7 and 8. So in these episodes, Abel's group ends up on floor 40 in the dungeon, which no adventurer has ever gotten to before, and so it's believed that this is where the tile bore came from, and so Clive wants to take credit for the discovery of it. So then but the gate teleported a bunch of people into the dungeon, regardless of what floor they're from. So Rio didn't know what was going on. He comes across Sarah at the library, and he confirms that tile bores end up occurring after solar eclipses, and there's whole Sarah confirms that monster crystals, as they age, they do get darker. So that if a tile bore goblin had white crystals, they were only a few days old. So the group on floor 40 is trapped by a barrier. So, and basically, Hugh and Christopher, they know they can't send a rescue team in since the team would either be teleport or they would die before reaching 440. Now, the 50 life forms, there's these 50 life forms with the group in 440, which turns out to be devils that start killing people. So Abel organizes some people and they start killing some of the demons before like the leader appears, and it's a demon prince that hasn't yet become a demon lord. And Abel loses a one-on-one duel, but Rio saves him. And Rio like sees the demon prince is weak, so he starts fighting, easily beats it. Like he brutally kills that demon prince. And then so it's believed Harold, while after that Harold believes notices mentions rumors that demons have some like space-time magic. So then Leonor like defeats this hero named Roman and steals a sacred jewel. And Roman's pissed that Leonor, who had fought Rio earlier, that Rio is stronger than Roman. So Roman's a little pissed off about that. And then so and then basically Harold tells Hugh about Rio's abilities, and Harold knows that if the public knew about how powerful Rio was, nobles would keep trying to interfere with him, and that could piss Rio off. So in any Rio's not mentioned in any paperwork. And so Sarah duels with Rio as like a practice, and Sarah is able to like not hold not hold back as much and still like have Rio keep up with her. So she's happy about that. And so it's shown that she instructs Margrave Loon in how to use a sword. Now Rio does lose to Sarah, which he's surprised about. But Sarah says that he is like the strongest swordsman she's fought like ever. And she asked about how the Fairy King, since the Fairy King gave Rio his robe and trained him. And it's revealed that elves are like half fairies, and so that the Fairy King's like a legend even amongst them. Now, it now Hugh quote quote punishes Rio for trespassing onto the dungeon when he wasn't supposed to, even though he was ordered not to. While he was grateful for Rio saving everyone, he still, since Rio disobeyed an order, he kind of still has to be punished. So the punishment is to escort some merchants to Whitnash Village. and that's where episode 8 ends off. So yeah, I really like these episodes. I like all the stuff with the demons, with the stuff with Sarah and how powerful Rio is compared to everyone. Like I thought the action was cool with all the magic stuff. So yeah, I really like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Doctor Stone season 4 episodes 19 and 20. So in these episodes, Senku, so the group has made some diamonds, some really small diamonds. Senku says that to reactivate the Medusa device, basically requires some natural diamonds from the Lassen Volcanic National Park that been polished with synthetic diamond dust. Now, basically, now Senku tells the Cornsig crew to sever communications to so Stanley can't pinpoint, Senku's location. So the group goes into the Amazon and they use this stone sanctuary of Araxa in order to construct the super alloy. Now, Zeno is transmitting a message to Stanley, who's able to decipher their location. And then basically at the sanctuary, Senku's group for basically sets up fortifications to draw Stanley's group in. And for a final battle, and Chrome's idea is to activate a Medusa device to petrify both armies, then have an ally be safely away from the blast radius of the Medusa in order to revive their side, in order to ensure victory. So, and then while they're trying to refine the Medusa, Kit Tasaki opens it without damaging it, and he notices the flaw in the diamonds by splitting them in half. So it reveals a weakness that they could exploit. So then so to go with the plan, Suka and Francois are a safe distance away. Basically, they're in charge of reviving the advance party after everyone's petrified. Now Suka and Francois notice that Ginro and Machikaze are held captive you know by Stanley's group. Now, Charlotte, who's one of the operatives, is bitten by a venomous spider and is paralyzed. Suka, not way to leave her to die, saves her using a nitroglycerin pad, but is discovered by everyone and has to run away. Now, the soldiers tell her freeze, but Suka doesn't know what that means. She doesn't. All she knows freezing means turn out. She doesn't know that freeze means stop moving. She doesn't know. She wasn't from the 21st century. So Francois helps her escape by throwing a knife through Machikaze, who then frees Ginro, and then you know two of them fight the soldiers, but they're both captured again by Stanley. And Francois surrenders, knowing that since you know Stanley's group, they're soldiers, they don't you know they don't like going after civilians. And then so Kohaku is not happy about Tsuka being captured, so she runs after him. And then Tsukasa and Hyogo follow her. Then they're fighting in order to basically take out. And now Hyoga's idea suggests disabling communications, which will give them a chance to rescue their friends. And they fight the Amer. Now Tsukasa defeats Maya, who's one of the fighters, and that's one of his more difficult opponents that Tsukasa's ever had. But he's shot bad. He's shot by there's a lot of bullets that penetrate him. And Hyoga's shot by Stanley, seemingly dead. And Kohaku destroys the columns, but is gunned down. So basically, the three of them are gunned down. Tsukasa is hoping that Senku can reactivate the Medusa, hoping that when it petrifies them, they can, be healed. If they're dead, they can come back to life, kind of like what happened with Senku. and with Sukasa, how they were basically literally resurrected by the stone thing. So yeah, so I really like said I like what stuff with like yeah we were setting up the big fight against Stanley's group. You know, I really like episodes, and dude, this the whole gunfight at the end. Holy frick! I've not read the manga, so I didn't know like how I was like, oh crap, that got dark. What the frick? I mean, dang. Oh man. Ooh. Yeah. I'm like, holy crap. Like these were great episodes. I mean, dude, Tsukasa was awesome in this. Like how they handled like him reminiscing of like what he did in the like his past compared to now, how he's like leaving his fate to Senku. That was awesome. I really like these two episodes. So like I really like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Marshal King chapters 20 and 21. So in these chapters, Jimu and his group they go through a bunch of the traps. Then we see a lot of focus on the alleged monster, which is it's revealed to be a guy from the 21st century. So in the past, we see like his past, he doesn't remember. Then he woke up butt naked or for some reason. Then he started gradually remember stuff. He thinks all humanity's gone, and he remembers his name is Nano Serizawa, a boy genius of the 21st century. So like so like basically he wants to go back to the 21st century, survive, and then we see a lot more of his backstory. Him coming across people who like one group attacked him, and then like he woke up healed, and then a bunch of people I guess hear rumors of a monster. Started going there, and he set up traps to keep them away. And I guess due to the traps, they think there's a monster there, but it's not. There's just a guy setting traps. Then we see Jimbo's group at the end, like come across like I guess this one big trap that looks like a giant. So yeah, so it's gonna be interesting seeing how they deal with that. So yeah, so I really liked these two chapters. Like saying with Nano, he seems like he could be an interesting character. Maybe an interesting ally for Jimmu, or well, probably in it. Like I think he's gonna be an ally. Like he's like an opponent right now, but I think he's gonna end up being an ally. Maybe like some more Wilden by what led to the Age of Desperados. Like like that'd be interesting to see. So yeah, I really like these chapters, and I'll look forward to the next one. South Park, season 27, episode 3. So in this one, ICE arrests like basically almost all the employees at Integrity Farms while Randy's filming a commercial. Due to the loss of employees, Randy tells his family they may have to sell the farm, which the family's very happy about. And basically, Randy learns for the first time that he was the only one who liked the weed farm. Everyone else hated it. Now, Randy says that he and Sharon should talk to someone about their marriage, but instead of a counselor, he consults ChatGPT. Now, I wouldn't necessarily trust either. Well, I mean, I definitely wouldn't trust ChatGPT with that. A marriage counselor? I don't know, because you have to have repeat customers somehow. You know, I would trust a pastor with that before I would trust a marriage counselor. That's just me. Now, but with Randy consulting ChatGPT, Sharon gets pissed off because it's basically the AI like just it basically shills for whoever's talking to it, gives a bunch of random bull crap. Now, so for Randy, he and the only employee left, Tally, they decide to rebrand Integrity Farms as a tech entertainment marijuana company called Integrity. Basically, it's digital solutions. I'm like, which, to be honest, I don't know what the frick they actually, which I honestly I don't know what that actually means. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what it means. I don't. Like I have no idea what the frick it means. Like the whole digital solution. Let me be honest. It just sounds like something some retard came up with after getting high on ketamine or something. I don't know. But it's like global solutions. What the? I don't know. Global solution deals with what? I'm like, dude, you're a marijuana farm. Freaking be quiet about that. Like, like you're selling weed. What do you think you do? Anyway, so basically, Randy and Tally they get high on ketamine, and basically they do microdoses, but it really affects them. And it's like, yeah, it's retarded. So, so then Randy can after consulting ChatGPT sends Tally to DC to convince President Donald Trump to basically reclassify marijuana as like a lower, like a less severe drug or something. I'm not familiar with how it all works since marijuana is illegal in a lot of states. Basically, to help allow integrity to expand its business. Now, Trump basically a lot of guests are giving him gifts, and basically keep telling him that he does not have a small dick. And then, Satan sells ChatGPT on how to leave Trump. Yeah. Now, so Tally, when he gets to DC, gives his presentation to Trump, in like a parody of Return of the Jedi, when Luke gives R2D2 and C3PO the job of the Hood. Randy gives Tally as a gift to Trump, which Trump proceeds to use Tally as his basically as a towel for cleaning basically cleaning cum off his dick in layman's terms. Basically, he's his cum towel. And yeah, now then so there's like the whole reality show type thing or sitcom thing. Satan's in the bathroom, sees Tally, like basically they're both Satan tells Tally that there's no escape from there. Now, so Sharon, like after seeing like ChatGPT does, decides to start talking like ChatGPT to get Randy to admit that the company was a failure and that that he needs to sell the farm. And Randy decides to no longer use ChatGPT. And Sharon like just basically tells ChatGPT that she like one upped it, whatever. And so basically, this seems to be the end of the Integrity Weed storyline, which some people have been asking for years. Which, yeah, I agree, it went along a lot longer than it should, but it did provide some laughs at many times. It provided a lot of laughs, so I didn't have a problem with it. I thought the AI jokes about AI was funny and ketamine, how tech industry, that's what they do. I guess a lot of them take ketamine. I'll be honest, I don't know what it does. and I kind of don't want to know. Like I ain't messing with that crap. For what it seems like, just on television, and what apparently what a lot of tech pros use it, they use it. I don't think I want it. And ChatGPT, yeah, dude, it just turned Randy to a retard. Like people start use AIs used to act more retarded. But yeah, I like this episode. That was funny. I laughed at all the jokes. And yeah, would I want more both sides stuff? Yes, I would. But there's gonna be times or different episodes they're gonna make more of one side than the other. There are gonna be plenty of times they may find the left a lot more than the right. And there are a lot of times they like this season they make fun of the right more than the left. But trust me, the like all sides will get made fun of. Like, yeah, of course people are like, oh, well, here's the thing, there are a lot of production issues during the Biden administration, like due to like lockdowns, restrictions, all that. They couldn't really make as many episodes as they would want, and with how their production schedule works, like, and also a lot of stress. They have a lower episode count because it's how they make episodes. It's very stressful, and I think the bi-weekly thing is partially to help with that. That's what I think, and I have no problem with that. It's a stressful job, and like making a whole episode in a week, and due to like restrictions, like I mean, look, there are some rules they do have to follow. Like there is only so much they can get away with due to some contracts, like union rules and all that. So I mean, I get it, but I would like some more both sides things, and I think everyone would want that. I think most people would want that. I would like it. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Peacemaker season 2, episodes 1 and 2. So this is like the first season since James Gunn basically became the head of DC. Yeah, so basically in the recap, they changed. So James Gunn changed the when the Justice League came in the end of season 1, they changed where it's the Justice Gang. So yeah, and James Gunn cannot plan. His head shoved so far up his butt, he can't just do a clean slate or just have Peacemaker move to a different universe with different version of his characters played by the same actors, like MCU did with J.K. Simmons, with J. Jonah Jameson. Simple thing to do. Hey, if you want your wife's characters brought in, just have her play an alternate universe of that version of that person in your universe. But no, you have to be retarded. Anyway, so basically, Peacemaker finds a door in a quantum chamber, and he finds an alternate reality where his father, Augie Smith, is alive and his brother's alive. Basically, they're all like this superhero like trio, and so Peacemaker's only taken really seriously as a superhero because he murders people, and so he embarrassingly fails to join the Justice Gang, and like White Rabbit also fails to join. Like Maxwell Lord, Guy Gardner, Kendra, and I think it's Kendra Saunders. They're not. I guess they're not good at being at air viewing. They just all come off as jokes. Yeah. So while this is going on, Amelia Harcourt is unable to find a job because, well, Amanda Waller is pissed off at her, so she uses her pool to keep Hardcore from getting a job. And now, like, you have, like, now with, Amanda Waller no longer running Argus, Rick Flag Sr. runs Argus now, and he doesn't like John Economos' report on Peacemaker. And, Economos and Leota Adebayo, they know that Flag knows that Peacemaker killed Rick Flag Jr. So when, so now in Peacemaker's second trip to that alternate reality, comes across that reality's version of Peacemaker. They get in a fight. That leads to Peacemaker, that version of Peacemaker dying. Not what happens there is while Peacemaker's being all depressed stuff. He hosts a certain type of party where a bunch of people get naked and do stuff to each other. I do not want to say what it's called because, well, I don't want to get age restricted or anything, so I'm not gonna say. But we all know what happened. It's freaking disgusting, freaking depraved. Yeah, it's freaking retarded. Yeah, there's no reason for that. Anyway, but now in this, now then, after that happens, so Peacemaker deals with the aftermath of all that. So yeah, so basically, Rick Flag Sr. sees like the files on his son's death, and like so Economos is having to deal with that. So we see Waller's daughter, whose name I can't remember and I don't care to remember. She's trying to form her own, I guess, little spy agency or something. I don't know. But then, yeah. So, yeah, and then that's on the bio. Yeah, so, Peacemaker now knows he's being watched by Flag Senior. So now Arcus will know every time Peacemaker uses the portal to go to another universe. Because Arcus now knows about the portal. Yeah. And so now you have this agent who has bird blindness who can't tell the difference between different types of birds, which is one of the most retarded things. And like when like the Fury, that agent starts mocking Pokemon, he tells Economos that while Economos was dealing with Pokemon, he where he says he was screwing two women at the same time. Yeah. So then we have like Hardcore still do what's up, but then Peacemaker like yeah. So Vigilante helps Peacemaker clean up the mess of the dead Peacemaker from the other universe. Yeah. There's some retarded crap in this. And then, so a freaking eagle beats up all these agents. That is retarded. Like, look, it says not even a superpowered eagle. That'd be one thing if that was the case. This is a regular eagle. And yeah, so then we have like, Hardcore rejects Peacemaker. Then now in the other universe, Hardcore's willing to talk to him. So we're seeing Peacemaker being moved between the two universes. We'll see what happens. you know, yeah, yeah. I thought this was. I didn't like this one. It was freaking boring, stupid, just a bunch of dick jokes. Like, I would say the music is mostly pretty good. Like the metal stuff, the rock and roll, I like that. So like, I like the soundtrack. That's the only praise I can give. Outside that, like the actors, I don't know if they care. I mean, it's John Cena playing John Cena. You know, the writing is terrible. My gosh, like, look, yes, there's nothing wrong with having humor, but you gotta at least take your work seriously. James Gunn does not take his work seriously. Like, I think the only time he's ever actually taken anything seriously was Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think he's ever taken anything else seriously. Not even Peacemaker, not Suicide Squad. He didn't take those seriously. He treated those as jokes. He treated Superman as a joke, and yeah, I would argue the same thing with Scooby Doo. I don't. There's things that should not be done in a Scooby Doo movie. Yeah, but I'm just not a fan of these two episodes. I thought they sucked. So yeah, I'll watch next week's. I ain't probably gonna like it, but I'll watch it. You know, I'll watch it to review it. The Thursday Murder Club. So this is a new film Netflix released today, based off a 2020 you know murder mystery novel by Richard Osman's first in the his book series. So this is based off the first book, and so this is about a group of retirees, at a nursing home, that investigate cold cases. So you have Pierce Brosnan playing Ron Ritchie, who's a former retired Union leader. Helen Mirren as Elizabeth Best, a retired MI6 spy. Ben Kingsley as Ibrahim Arif, a retired psychiatrist. And Celia Emery as Joyce Meadowcraft, who's a retired nurse. And Joyce is like a new member, so there was a member named Penny who like has like some health issues that she can't really be a member. She's a former police officer. And so the four, the group, they befriend, PC, Donna De Freitas, who's a local new police officer that, new at the local precinct. And, what happens is there's like an issue where Ian Vinham, played by David Tennant, you know, wants to like get rid of the retirement home and put in some like apartments, whatever. But you also have, some of the other like owners. You have Bobby Tanner, who's a mobster, who's one of the owners, played by Richard E. Grant. Tony Curran, played by Jeff Bell. And so what happens is Tony is killed, and that starts a whole mystery, like a who done it. So the Thursday Murder Club investigates, how like exchanges intel with Freitas, and like basically there's different. So there's different like suspects. One being Jason Ritchie, Ron's son, who's like a retired boxer who had retired due to injury, but he's cleared once because his alibi, like he's in well, so he's a suspect because in a picture between Bobby Tanner, um, Ian Vintham, there's there's a third person photo, and like his tattoo is shown in the photo. It turns out he did some odd jobs for Vintham, and well, basically, so like, but he's able to be cleared, which reveals that he was having an affair with Vintham's wife at the time of you know, of the murder, of the current murder. So after a bunch of investigations when Bobby Tanner's found, basically living as a florist. You know, turns out Tanner and Curran were involved with a smuggling operation where they would smuggle illegal immigrants into the UK and keep their passports. Now, while Tanner would give his immigrants their passports back if they wanted to visit their families. Briefly he would, but Curran would not give immigrants back, their like passports, like very power hungry and all that. So Bogdan, who's like, local worker at, the retirement home, basically he tried to get his passport back, Curran attacked him and Bogdan accidentally killed him. It was an accident. And he tells all this to Elizabeth's husband, Stephen Best, who's a published author, played by Jonathan Price, who has some like memory issues. So, he has to, so, and he says it's their chess conversation, which Stephen records. Stephen records all his chess like games so that he can strategize for later matches because he can't remember well. And the recording is used by Elizabeth to expose Bogdan. Now, there's a lot of stuff that happened. So, Ventham was actually a suspect, but he was killed. And it's revealed that his death is actually kind of separate because Ventham had actually succeeded digging up the like the grave site, like the place where some bones have been dug up would have been um basically person who is so one of the cold cases was there was a girl who was killed allegedly by someone masked, but it's actually her boyfriend that killed her. But the boyfriend was friends with the cops, so he got away with it. But Penny, this was decades before, having seen so many domestic abusers get away with their crimes, she like took it in her hands and killed the boyfriend and buried him in the grave. And if the graveyard was dug up, the bones would have been found. And she got on drugs. So her husband killed Vintham and with fentanyl to protect his wife. And when Elizabeth confronts, you know, them about it, the two of them about it, it's implied that they take fentanyl and take their own lives. So, funerals held for them. And, Bogdan's arrested. So, yeah, overall, I thought this was you know, a decent murder mystery. The actors were good. I mean, these are a lot like your older, like, British actors who know what they're doing. Like Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan. Well, he's Irish. Ben Kingsley. Like these are people who know what they're doing. Jonathan Pryce, Richard E. Grant. These are people who know how to act. And it shows in this very, simple story. You see very quippy in how the older people interact with, the younger, pops and all that. And, David Tennant's great as, like, Rick, very fitting in that role. And, David Tennant's a good actor. Like, whatever problems people have with David Tennant, like his personality, how he acts and stuff, he is a good actor. Like, David Tennant is a good actor. And, Tom Ellis was good. But yeah, I thought this was a decent movie. You know, interesting if they make movies, but if Netflix makes movies based off the other books in the series. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.